Welcome into First Pitch, WagerTalk's premier MLB betting show for Wednesday, October 27th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Tony Finn and Mid-Major Matt of Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. We're talking Game 2 of the World Series, going tonight in Houston, Texas. Matt, coming to you first here. We get the Astros at home, minus 115 price tag. You know, we got Euclid on the hill versus Max Fried coming from the left side for the Braves. 8.5 being the total in Minute Maid, a little juice towards that over. What are you liking here? Braves, Astros, Game 2 World Series.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, when you look at this game, I mean, the clear pitching advantage goes to the Atlanta Braves here when you look at what Max Fried does. And a lot of people will talk about, oh, well, you know, Houston's been really good against left-handers this season. But when you look, only two Houston hitters have seen Max Fried before. Marwin Gonzalez, I believe, is one of two. Zach Greinke is one for one in his career, and Zach Greinke's not seeing the batter's box in this contest. So really, when you look at this lineup, no one has actually seen Max Fried. And I think early on, that's going to be a factor here. I think he's got some solid stuff. That first time through the order is going to be a little bit perplexing for some of these guys. When you look on the other side, Urquidy, obviously the Braves have not seen him. So look, I would think that potentially the first, 5 under comes into play here when you have two matchups here, or you could even, some books have the first 3 under, and you could see if the fact that neither of these two teams have seen the starting pitcher before comes into play. Fried coming off that bad start against the Dodgers, but there was some desperation there, and of course it's tough to pitch in L.A. against the Dodgers. Urquidy has only pitched twice this month, and I know a lot of people will look at his strikeout prop, and they see the 3.5, and look, my lean would be to the under on the 3.5. It's been 3.5 pretty much across the board, no matter what sports book you use. The one thing that's kind of concerning to me about the Atlanta Braves when it comes to strikeouts is you look at Jake Odorizzi last night. He's not really necessarily a strikeout pitcher. He had 5 last night against Atlanta in a couple of innings. You look at some of the other random guys that have had some big-time strikeout performances against Atlanta. So while I'm not saying take the over here, I'm just not running to the under. The Fried K-prop is 3.5 on DraftKings with way too much juice on both directions. I'll say this, if you like the under, take the under, or 3.5 on DraftKings. And then it's pretty much 4.5 leaning towards the under in every other sports book. Once again, I could see 2 different scenarios. Houston doesn't strike out a ton, and I could see where the under comes into play. And then I could also see where the over comes into play if you think that Max Fried's going to pitch pretty well. Hallian's the home plate umpire, and I know Tony could talk about that a little bit more. He seems a little bit like a hitter's umpire, so that may not benefit Max Fried there. So you may want to look at the under there when it comes to the strikeout prop, but I know Tony will talk a little bit more about the home plate umpire for this game.
Sure, and we'll come back to you, Matt, for best bets. But Tony, coming to you, tonight we get the Astros for Game 2. Looks like to be anywhere from minus 114 to minus 117 at home. We also have James in the back helping us out here with MGM has it priced series price, Astros plus 135, Braves minus 155 to win the World Series. You can get that as low as Braves minus 140, Astros plus 145 as well out there in the marketplace. So little opinion out there. But Tony, coming over to you for game number 2 and any series price thoughts.
Well, when I was putting the best bet up for the show, for those who are in the audience, we alert the producers and the directors and all the powers that are here at WagerTalk and on WagerTalk TV what our best bets might be. And then they help us out with some optics and visuals. And even my interest in this was really, what do I do? I'm one of those, much like Teddy talks about, if you like a series, whoever you like in the game coming up, this early in a series in particular, gauge the prices of the series to the game night. And it's funny is what I saw is I went to look at a series price and I went to Penny and they were showing a minus 140 or minus 150, or maybe it was WagerTalk. One of them showing the series price. We'll look at WagerTalk real quickly as I'm talking to you. And because I wanted to gauge, what do I do here? At this point in time, Matt was spot on. Everything he said, spot on. This is a situation where I thought Houston had to win last night because that's really their number one. And starting pitching was going to be I thought the liability of Houston. I think their bats are better than Atlanta overall. Anything can happen in a 7-game series. But in this situation, Drew, If you can get a plus price on Atlanta for the series, I like Atlanta tonight. I like Atlanta tonight. I like Fried over Liquidity. I just do. The bullpen for Atlanta has been just lights out. I would say that Houston had a small advantage bullpen-wise because of what they did at the trade deadline, but it's just not been the case. In fact, their pitching has gone south. Their starting pitching and their pitching overall has gone south. I thought they were fortunate to escape Boston. And what we saw yesterday, I think, offers evidence as such. And so if you're going to get a plus price on the Braves right now, rather than playing the Braves at plus 107, whatever the cost is tonight, right? If the Braves win tonight, you can grab your 107 if you want, plus 107, 105 if you want. But I say if you can get a plus 140, as you just talked about with the Braves, you play the Braves at plus 140 in the series price here tonight, because if they go up 2-0, I'm feeling pretty darn good about them figuring out a way to win the next 2 out of 5. Sure.
Hold on, Tony. They're not plus 140 to win the series. They're the favorites. James got it. Bet MGM.
That's what.
Braves
Okay.
minus 155. Astros
right. So that's when I saw that price. I thought I'm not playing the Astros at minus 150 after one game. Not when I can get plus money tonight on Fried. So while I still think essentially what I'm saying is play if you like Atlanta to win the series now at minus 150. Play whatever you're going to play on the series. Play it tonight on Fried, and I think Atlanta to win the series again. I thought Houston had to win last night. I still believe Houston or the Atlanta has to win tonight for them to win the series. So my best bet would be to take the Braves and the plus small price in Houston. And as Matt said, liquidity against Fried. Fried has the advantage. No one's seen this guy, and Houston has hit left-handers fairly well this year, but it's a different scenario. Hallian is a hitter-friendly umpire, and the way the Braves are swinging the bats, they're swinging the bats just as well as the Astros right now in this moment, this space and time. Give me Houston, guys. Give me Braves plus money, both series and in the game tonight. But I will just stick with the plus money in the game tonight as opposed to playing the series because of what I just explained.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, Tony, in terms of structuring your bet, structure it there towards tonight's matchup, getting the plus money with Fried rather than lay minus 155 on the Braves to win the World Series. Yes. Just lay that amount of money on tonight's game. Heck, we'll see how it plays out, but I do agree with you. That's the way to go. Also, shout out to Robert, Joe in the back, James, Chris as well, in terms of those graphics, guys, and the hit streaks for the Braves in the postseason. I didn't know if I was watching MLB Network or WagerTalk YouTube. We're starting to look really strong with these graphics. Absolutely good stuff back there, Robert. But coming back to you guys around the horn here to kind of put it in conclusion, get it on the record books for best bets for tonight. I can start us off here. I'm actually going on that plus price. You can get them plus 135 at BetMGM. You can also shop around and get them plus 145 at multiple sports books in Vegas and offshore, and that is the Astros to win the World Series. Down 1-0, obviously losing game 1. But I think it's actually a good time to jump in on the Astros. Couple reasons why, guys. One, we saw big game Charlie. I actually went into it. I didn't bet the game, just one game for game 1, meaning I didn't bet the Astros. I bet them for the series because of big game Charlie. I thought he would come out and play pretty good. I thought they had the big pitching edge. Now coming out of that, he's injured, not going to get, two more starts in the series. Plus the fact, the Astros bullpen, I think is very strong. We saw it last night. They gave up the majority of those runs right off the bat. After that, the Astros kind of quieted them down. And I think this Astros lineup, number 1 hitting lineup against lefties. Matt talked about it a little bit. Now, they don't have a lot of experience against Fried, and that could help the pitcher side of things. But the fact is, this is the number 1 hitting lineup against lefties and against righties, but I think that they're going to have a pretty big game. It's tough to shut out this Astros team, this Astros lineup 2 days in a row. So being at home with the DH in Minute Maid, I would look for the Astros to win this one. So on the series price, we can get them plus 145 entry point right now. That's my best bet for the show. Matt, coming back to you for your best bet and kind of final thoughts here before we head to game 2 of the World Series.
So yeah, the K props tonight, I don't think necessarily there are a lot of value there. I think I would lean to the Fried under and lean to the Urquidy under, but then again, they also need innings from Urquidy. And as I said, the Braves have had some random bad efforts against bad pitchers throughout this postseason. So a little bit more hesitant on the Urquidy side. I think there could be some value in some of the player props in terms of total bases. I've seen Eddie Rosario at plus 140 to go over 1.5 total bases. I think Yuli Gurriel has some value in his over 1.5 total bases because he's another guy who hits lefties well. The problem is he doesn't often get a lot of extra base hits. So you might need 2 hits in order to go over that 1.5, but he's a very hot hitter right now, and there's nothing to say that he couldn't do that. My actual best bet is, and it's not in every book, so you're going to have to find it, over 1.5 runs for the Braves in the first 5 innings. It went over in the first, 5 batters yesterday, which was a fantastic win. I had that yesterday. And the Braves have gone over this number in all but 1 or 2 postseason games so far. They are a very good hitting team when it comes to early on in ball games. And we've seen Urquidy struggle. I think it's 7 of his last 12 starts. He's given up 2 runs or more in those first 5 innings. So if you can find it, I would take over 1.5 runs for Atlanta in these first 5 innings of the game tonight.
I like it, Matt. Good stuff for you, man. And guys, he talked about it. 2-0 yesterday. He's also 19-8 so far this MLB postseason. You can check him out, Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com. His 26-14 over the last week. So he is seeing it well across all sports, especially in baseball. We got Tony Finn up next. His MLB postseason, 15-8. So both of these guys, Tony Finn at WagerTalk, Matt Josephs at Sports Memo, seeing it well on the diamond, 15-8. That's 65% in the MLB postseason, 5-1 with the totals. So check him out, WagerTalk.com, experts page, Tony Finn. Tony, throw it over to you. Final thoughts and best bet.
Well, I kind of covered my best bet when we were speaking about the series price. Like I said, if I can get plus money at a series price right now, up 1-0, I was loving it. I didn't think I was going to get that, but I certainly didn't think I was going to be laying $1.50 on the Braves after 1 game. However, especially with, as you mentioned, with Charlie, with Morton going down. So, and he's done for the series, as you mentioned. So I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with the Braves tonight in the plus money price. 107 is what I saw before the show, and I'm going to guess that's probably pretty close. You may get a little better than that if you wait closer to a first pitch, simply because the public is going to be the Braves or the Astros lost yesterday. Let's get on the Astros tonight. So I think that plus 110, plus 115 range for Fried is realistic, and I think it is my free bet. I think it offers some value.
He's Tony Finn. Guys, in recap for the best bets, we got Astros series price as high as plus 145 for myself. We get Matt Joseph's Braves first 5 team total over 1.5 minus 140. Cash in the first 5 batters last night. Look to do it again here. That's Matt Joseph's. And Tony Finn, Braves plus 107. Those are the best bets